Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Weleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Thank you once again, viewers, for joining us with Barrister Austin Manta, will be of whom we'll be actually talking about some topical issues that borders both Nigeria and probably outside Nigeria. Barrister, thank you once again for joining us today.
It's always my pleasure to be on this show.
All right, let's get on it. Let me play this video. I don't know, it's about IBB. I don't know if you watched the IBB show. I prefer to call it the show of shame. I don't know, did you follow IBB's book launch?
Of course, it was a typical issue in Nigeria.
Okay. All right.
Yesterday.
Okay. Let me play this video. Then thereafter we'll talk about.
All right, and let me bring you up to speed with what's been happening today. So 32 years ago, there was a controversial annulment of the June 12 presidential election. Nigeria's former head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, has admitted today for the first time that the late presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party at the time, Moshood Abiola, popularly known as MKO Abiola, actually won the election. It was a startling revelation, isn't it? And was contained in his book, Babangida's 420-page memoir titled A Journey in Service, an autobiography of Ibrahim Babangida, which the book was previewed by the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. It was launched in Abuja and was heavily attended, and dignitaries from across the country were in attendance. Let me bring you some of the major sound bites from that event. First and foremost, let's hear from the former head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida.
Is absolutely sure there will be enlightenment and there will be, and we will have written record.
This is
written record.
President Olusegun Obasanjo talking. Okay, let me
for history you acquired.
Babangida, yes,
the one talking.
I had,
actually,
a very rough, time. I was even in the charge for treason, isn't it? I was in charge for treason. You believe that? Such a false thing. I certainly didn't, but rescinded that order. You in the end.
The army, all were hoping was to get to the reach of a captain and then retire. Pillars to, but no moment go to our faces.
And if you contribute to the documentation of the history, it makes the history stronger.
Remains that the administration that devised a near-perfect electoral system and conducted those near-perfect elections.
Already, I believe that's trending stuff. So let's talk about it. Barrister, honestly, when I watched this video, I just shook my head. I really, really wept for Nigeria, honestly, when I watched this video. Now, what you saw there is a conglomerate of the Nigerian leaders who actually were instrumental to where we are today. They are all bunch of rogues and thieves that have really, really stolen Nigeria dry. They have converged to celebrate someone, IBB. I don't know if I'll call it, that is not even restitution. If you want to restitute, I expected him to confess that he was the one who killed Delegiwa. And besides, even when he accepted, he admitted that he annulled the June 12th election. If you go through that speech, you will eventually hear where the portion where he said he actually apportioned blame to IBB. Abacha.
Abacha,
yeah, Abacha and his boys. So technically, he didn't take responsibility for that. So as coward as he is, he didn't take responsibility for that. Barrister, what do you make of this show of shame? I actually tagged that book launch. As I don't know, at this age, he should be 80 something. This is when he's building his library? For God's sake, he left presidency for how many years? Most presidents, the moment they leave, the next thing is, I think, give them 1 or 2 years, they build their presidential library or whatever. Obasanjo did his own almost. I remember when he did the fundraising, whatever, where they funded other multinationals, they funded the library. So I don't know why his own is coming up this time. And secondly, Barrister, are we supposed to be celebrating IBB? For God's sake, IBB has caused us a whole lot of pain. Where he is part of the foundation that led us to where we are today. What's your thought on everything I have just said?
Yes, first of all, you called it appropriately what it is, a show of shame. It's not just a show of shame, it is a show of cowardice. And thirdly, Nigerians have seen in both prints the cartel, the club that has ruined Nigeria. They all came together on this occasion without a modicum of shame to do what? Now, when you hear that IBB is writing his memoirs, his autobiography, a lot of us tuned, despite that we already know a lot of things. We thought there would be something new. We thought there would be an insight into what is not already in the public domain. So people were ready. A lot of people tuned in to watch the proceedings, to watch the commentaries on the book. Unfortunately, I did not see anything new, anything that was not in the public domain. I only saw a coward coming forward after most of the people he's apportioning blames have died and cannot contradict what he's saying. He had all the time to publish his memoirs, his autobiography, while the principal actors were alive. Let all of them challenge him and say, no, this did not happen. He waited until all the members of the Armed Forces Ruling Council,
honestly,
in which he presided, were dead.
Honestly.
He now came up to do this thing. Now you blame the annulment of June 12th on Abacha. And you say that you couldn't do anything to Abacha because he controlled a large portion of the army. That's babadash. That's nonsense. He was removing Obito Kiwe. He was removing Augustus Oikomo. He was removing people at will. Why couldn't he remove Abacha? It doesn't make sense. He is at his old age and near the terminal end of his life, not ready to take blame for anything. Honestly. Not for the several coups, not for the annulment, not for the Maradona style of politics, elections, from one to the other to the other. He didn't talk about that. The postponement of this, the postponement of that. He didn't talk about that. The banning of these people, banning of that one, banning of these people to try to distract the attention of Nigerians. Honestly. What is even worse is that even after the annulment, in his own speech, he said they wanted to plan another election. How can you even be making those kind of things? He had banned all previous politicians. Well, you can talk of the result of that election. I participated in that election. I was an officer of the SDP. The election was conducted. At the point of conducting of the election, it was fairly free and fair. But election does not start and end on election day.
Yeah.
There's a process that brings it up. Was that process free and fair? It wasn't. IBB had banned so many politicians that at the end of it, there were no candidates, apart from Abiola and Tofa. So when you now talk of being the freest and fairest election, freest, yes, but not fairest, because of the process that brought it to that day. So this, his book launch, which had fetched him, I think 17 billion so far.
What?
From the
17 billion? What the hell is this man going to do with money at his age?
He said it's presidential library. Now, how many years that he's talking about presidential? Aliko Dangote gave I think $8 billion, 8 billion naira.
What?
Dangote
gave 8 billion.
Yes. Other people 3 billion. This one 4 billion. It was a cartel, a club, and they know themselves. They cannot disappoint one of their own. They own Nigeria. The Tinubu himself was there. Obasanjo of all was there. Even Buhari, who did not come, still sent somebody to come. So they know themselves. They know what they are doing to Nigeria. And they know that they are collectively to blame for the malaise that Nigeria is in today. So they have banded together to protect themselves. If you blame one person, then the guilt will spread around to all of them. So their tactic is to band together and support each other, and then divert the blame to other people. But it is actually shameful. There is nothing in my mind to celebrate IBB. He is a cruel and scheming fellow. And he is actually a coward. And that is why he survived till today. Remember Chinua Achebe's book, Things Fall Apart?
Yes.
He said, you, the coward, you stand in the house of a coward and point to the house of a brave man and say he once lived there. So what it means is that the coward ends up surviving because of fear. But the brave man acts and possibly in the process loses his life. IBB survived because of cowardice, not anything more than that. So I have nothing good to say about his autobiography.
Honestly, sometimes
so,
I just...
Any news that is new, the bomb blast that killed Delegiwa. I remember very well. I was in a hotel room in Ile-Ife. I went to do a case, I think, was it August or something, 1986.
1980, yeah.
86. I went to Ife to do a court case there. I was in my hotel room when I heard the death of... I felt, even at that time, I felt a shoulder run through my body. I said, how has this thing come to Nigeria? And if you look at the sequence of what happened before, they had accused Delegiwa of trying to overthrow the government. A key functionary of the government accused him. The following day, the chief of Defense Military Intelligence, Akilu, called him and said, no, he should forget about that accusation. It is a misunderstanding and miscommunication. Then the man apparently relaxed. We heard that a parcel was to come from the presidency for him. And then the parcel arrived. And his son gleefully collected the parcel and gave him. And he tried to open it, and that was the end of it. IBB is now telling us, after efforts to investigate, the murder were frustrated all along the way. When the General Akilu was to be called and questioned, they blocked it. Who was the Director General of DMN there? They block all the people that
DNI,
were principal. DMI, yes.
DNI.
They block them from being interrogated, from being investigated. Now you come and you are pulling wool over our eyes that you wish an investigation had uncovered who was responsible. When you were there, you did not investigate. You blocked the investigation all through. But today, you are saying you wish an investigation had opened up who killed. This is just plain hypocrisy.
Honestly, when I was watching that video, I was watching it with a whole lot of disdain and anger and infuriation. I just imagined as they were, all of them as they were there, that just an explosive, one explosive from nowhere should just detonate for all of them as they, because everybody, all of them, they are either directly or indirectly instrumental to the foundation of Nigeria that we are suffering today. That's just it. Gowon is the oldest among them. In fact, Gowon is still part of. Can you imagine? You see how God is so. I don't know. Honestly, sometimes life. I don't feel life is not fair. It's not fair, but unfortunately, there's no how we cannot question God. He's the one who makes everything and he decides how everything runs. But I don't understand. Sometimes I ask questions, why are the evil people, why do the evil people live long? I don't know. It's a puzzle that nobody can actually, even though we try to answer this or whatever, some people through in a Christian fold, we answer it in certain way. There is a standard way of, but honestly, it's still, to me, I just see it as a puzzle, because that answer is not, it's not really, it makes sense, but it's not cogent enough to actually pacify someone's curiosity.
I remember Martin Luther King also faced this problem. He didn't provide a good answer, but he provided some succor. I always remember his statement. He said, "Evil forever on the throne, but behind the scaffold lies God, keeping watch over his own." So he recognized that evil people are always on the throne. But he couldn't answer why. But he took succor in the fact that behind that scaffold, God was watching over his own. So the same thing you are asking today, the evil people always find their way into power, because the good people, based on their goodness, they are not tricky. They are not planning something. They are just relating with people based on their honesty, based on their goodness. But the evil people are always scheming, always plotting, always planning. So they go ahead and get that.
Honestly, it's so sad. It's so sad. I listened to from one speaker to the other. They were just showering this man with a whole lot of praises, and the whole thing is just so annoying and irritating. Honestly, it's so sad. It is extremely sad that Nigeria, we are where we are today because of this set of human beings. Incidentally, these human beings are still alive and just they're not making mockery of us. To me, I don't see them mocking us.
I agree with you 100%. It's total mockery. You bring disaster on a nation. And even then, God has spared your life. The least you can do is confess and say, I did this wrong. I was wrong here. I was wrong that. I asked for my countrymen's forgiveness. Honestly, but no, honestly, you want to shed the blame to other people.
Could have restituted at least. Yeah? Instead, it just came to only as far as I'm concerned. At his old age, he's supposed to be restituting. Instead, he just came to show off. That what he did was just an act of sheer show off. He just came to show how like what the Jonathan Yeye man for that man is just I don't even understand that I don't get it, for God's sake. And which is the truth? He pointed out something actually, Jonathan, that said that Babangida has become a sort of he likened it to pilgrimage because every politician, everybody vying for office seem to actually want to visit him for whatever reason, a sort of, and which is technically is the truth. But the way Jonathan eulogized him, I even just irritated me even more. Huh? Honestly, it is so sad. So sad.
It is so, and it is so annoying. So annoying. You blame a dead man when you know he is not there to respond. But you did not say anything about the banning, unbanning, postponement,
honestly,
shifting dates. Was it Abacha that was doing that banning of people, postponing elections, unbanning the people and saying they should come? When they're about to do, you ban them again? Was it Abacha that was responsible for those things that happened? He never even took responsibility for that.
Honestly.
He just wanted the public to know that all the problems was caused by Abacha and his supporters in the army. That is cowardice to me. Besides coming now to tell us that Abiola won the election. There's nothing new in that. It is in the public domain. Everybody knew.
Yeah, in fact, that was when the first thing that came out of my mouth. So what the hell? What nonsense is this? Me, I even thought he was going to confess
in that
something
election
or whatever.
The result.
Honestly,
I was an official of that election. Everybody, the whole country already knows the result.
Of course.
Even to the details. It's out there. So coming out in your autobiography to say that, yes, Abiola won, it's not new. There's nothing new there. The country already knows that Abiola won. He has been recognized as such. As I think during the time of Buhari, Buhari recognized that Abacha won. He didn't stop there. He restored the privileges of an elected president to Abiola's family. And they have been receiving privileges attached to a president. So do you now come today and claim that you are revealing unknown facts, things that the public did not know?
Honestly, it's so sad.